Okay, so lately I've been having trouble figuring out ideas for new videos, and I thought to myself, hey, why not review the worst movies ever? And yet here we are with the video. Oh joy. What exactly makes a bad movie bad? Well, it could be a number of things. Terrible writing, bad direction, pacing is too slow or too fast, unlikable characters, and even horrible cinematography. The list of what a movie can do wrong is really extensive. And then you have a movie that fails so spectacularly that it ends up being one of the worst things in humankind that no one will ever forget. So kick out the drinks, because this is gonna be a long one, I'll tell you that. So, being the film geek that I am, I have decided to venture into this pit of darkness, I guess you could say. Since there are so many movies that are considered, you know, the worst, I won't be able to talk about all of them, so this video will be a mix of stuff you have heard of, and stuff you didn't even know existed. Also, no stuff like the Star Wars Holiday Special, since that's not really a movie, it's a special. Although I would definitely like to take a look at it sometime in the future, given its infamy. With that being said, let's see what our first contender is for worst movie of all time. Well, I'm screwed. Apparently, having Adam Sandler dress in drag was something we needed in our society. My question is, why did the creators think this was a good idea? It's like if we tried to cram a cartridge into a PS2. Well, at least I actually tried. Imagine, if you will, a movie that's so painfully unfunny that it actually makes you lose brain cells just by watching it. This is that. This movie was just such a painful experience to watch. And yes, I did actually watch this. I only got through 16 minutes. It was that hard to watch. Because every single time this movie even attempts a joke, it ends up being more painful than it already is. It just gets worse and worse. And don't even get me started on the whole Adam Sandler in drag thing. Every single time he's on screen as his female persona, he's just unbearably annoying. Did he purposely put on this annoying voice just to annoy the audience and make their ears bleed? Maybe? I don't know. Because of this vile piece of media, I now have less respect for Adam Sandler. Sure, he's made a few movies that are actually kinda good, but this was truly his most horrid creation. And now for something different, because I'm tired of this hot garbage. Mac and Me is a ripoff of E.T. from 1988 that just so happens to be terrible. I mean, what did you expect? It's a ripoff, of course. Sure, the main character's in a wheelchair, but it pretty much has the same plot as E.T. It's literally the same. I actually have a bit of a confession to make. You see, I actually kinda like this movie, but only in an ironic way. The movie is just so ridiculous that's pretty much borderline comedy. It's like hilarious to watch. It also likes to defy logic sometimes, because why not? For example, whenever the alien creature is injured, he's healed through the power of Coke. I'm dead serious. Which reminds me, this movie actually has a lot of product placement, specifically from Coke and McDonald's. You see it almost everywhere in this movie, so much so that you start to go crazy. Good lord, it's everywhere! All jokes aside, the shameless product placement is the least of your worries, trust me. Especially compared to the acting, which is pretty bad.
I think you should know I bruise easily. Mac, he's in the tennis suit.
He is? I don't believe this!
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's my mom. What are we going to do? You'll have to go without me.
And then you got the main alien character, Mac, who looks absolutely disgusting. Get this thing away from me. It's obvious why it's one of the worst movies of all time, but at least it's memorably terrible. And now I gotta do some sort of transition, I guess? I don't know how to do this.
Even so, the hyperlight jet can still be very unstable.
What's up? Balloon to the Rescue, an infamous piece of trash that's very obviously a ripoff of a certain Pixar movie. Because A Weekend isn't perfect until you put Greek tragedy in it. This one you've probably heard of before, but if you haven't, then let me tell you about this rancid garbage. This was made by the infamous Video Brinquedo, a direct-to-video company from Brazil, whose entire filmography consists of horrible ripoffs of other animated movies. Great. It's nice to know that my time isn't being wasted. Seriously, this looks like a pirated PS1 game found on the streets of Detroit. It's really that ugly. I don't know what else to say about this because it's pretty well known on the internet and most people will agree that's terrible. I mean, there are a few differences, like the plot being absolutely ridiculous. It's literally about a bunch of monster hunters who travel by house. Tell me this isn't weird. Also, this movie is slightly racist. Yes, really.
Perfect, China! I
I promise to give you some Moo Goo Gai Pan when we get back to the house.
This kid is a menace to society. There's literally a Chinese stereotype character in this, and it's not exactly fun to sit through, even if he only appears right around the end. There's also a French stereotype character in this as well, and he's literally the villain. To make matters worse, after he's defeated, he gets sent to another dimension for the rest of his life, which is just sad. Was this movie even made by humans, or a bunch of apes on steroids? What's Up, Balloon to the Rescue is a broken, ugly cinematic disaster that truly is one of the worst movies ever. With that being said, here's another example of a movie that is also considered one of the worst. This here is Birdemic, a ripoff of Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds, which unlike the latter had an extremely low budget, which means that it has the quality of a video shot on an iPhone 4. I should know, I had one. This is one of those movies that is so bad, it's actually kind of good, despite the fact that it's terrible from a critical standpoint. If you told me that this was made by a bunch of high school students, I would believe you. The thing is, it actually wasn't though. It was made by a very small independent company. Might as well show you some clips since they speak for themselves, honestly.
Due to the difficulty of finding enough food, such as seals.
Woohoo! So, how's your day?
My day's going well. How's yours?
You could put it that way. I love trees. They're my family. I look out for them and protect these precious redwoods.
In a nutshell, this movie is hilariously bad, and if you haven't seen it, I'd kinda recommend it. But only watch it with friends. It's better that way. To be fully honest with you, I don't think I can handle much more of these bad movies. Can I just please take some sort of break and just talk about something else, or stop altogether?
No. Here is another movie.
Fine. One more. Just one more.
2 hours later.
This is hot garbage. Jaws the Revenge, aka Jaws 4, is known as the worst Jaws movie and movie in general. I watched it and I fully agree. It's a really boring movie and half the time it doesn't even feel like a Jaws movie. And it's a Jaws movie. Because of the slow pacing, it feels more like a drama, which does not fit well with, a Jaws movie, since, a Jaws movie is supposed to be action-packed. It's just bad. It's one of those movies that you just wait to be over when you watch it. It has a 3% on Rotten Tomatoes. What were you expecting? There's nothing really more I can say about it, really. It's just a terrible movie. It's got bad acting, terrible effects, and slow pacing that really makes it hard to watch. That's mainly why I decided to include this in the video last minute. Wow, those were certainly bad movies, alright, and definitely contenders for the worst movie of all time. Of course, there's obviously loads of films that are said to be the worst, but this video was really just me showing off some examples of movies like that. I might do another video with more bad movies though, kind of like a volume 2, I guess you could say. I don't know how to end this, so I'm just gonna say that I'm gonna go get some bleach for my soul.